Right, we're live on air. So I know we'll get a couple of visitors joining us very soon indeed, but while we're at it, just let everyone join us, hopefully spread the word, and do a bit of an intro. Okay, I'll just launch. Welcome to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. I'm not actually got a cup of tea to hand, but I do have a pint because I'm in a pub at the moment. What's happening is I also work as a DJ, and I've got a job tonight. I'm DJing in a pub. They've been very grateful to allow me to come here and host the hangout today. It's all spinning plates. It's got to be said, we've got a bunch of guests who are joining us. We've got a bunch of guests via a live roving report from Alyssa. We'll work it out as the hangout goes on. You'll find out exactly how this is going. But first things first, let's do a bit of a quick head count about what's happening in terms of Comic-Con. 30 days to go. It's the 7th of June 2015, and we've only got 4 of these hangouts left. Before we're actually into it, we can actually say next month, San Diego Comic-Con 2015. Can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. This is going to be one of our SDC toolkits in terms of collectibles and exclusives. We are going to be talking about that. If there's anything that you want to ask in terms of the best approach you can take to get the exclusive or collectible you want, what collectibles are you looking for in particular? Is there any kind of something that's an approach that you want to take? Do you do it for the souvenir aspect, or do you do it as a collector? Is there a financial aspect? Do let us know, jump in on that, and do so either on the Google Plus Q&A, of course, or you can tweet us at CupOTSDCC. Jump in on the conversation. We'd love to have you take part. Okay, let's very quickly go through the guys that I know for a fact I can speak to, certainly in terms of our Hangout guests on the Google Plus, because we have Brandon Troy who's joined us. Let's see if I've lost his. Hello, Brandon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Excellent stuff. Brandon is from Real Film Chatter and has
News.
Oh, sorry, I do apologize. Well, I'll tell you what. Explain your type, because you're brand new to the Hangouts. We haven't had you as a guest before. So tell us all about your site and what you've got.
Oh yeah, sure. Real Film News is a website that deals with all things pop culture. So we do film, television, music. So anything in that entertainment realm, and we have different folks that like to have a niche that they like to geek out about, whether it's in music or television or film or the like. So yeah, cover the whole gamut.
Are you going to be attending Comic-Con this year?
I will. It'll be my it'll be my 7th year.
Wow. Excellent.
So since '09.
Okay. Is there anything that kind of you really do keep your eye out into? Where do you spend your Comic-Con? Do you kind of go for the big panels, or do you just kind of go do some fancy free? What's your focus?
Well, it really depends on what the con has to offer for that particular year. I've been fortunate to kind of be on both sides of the convention, both as an attendee and now going as press. This will be my 4th year going as press. So I kind of like to mix it up, whether it's the hall floor or the panels or even some of the exclusives that are available. So it just depends.
So obviously we'll talk to you very soon about the films that will be kind of on display at Comic-Con, because obviously it's all very balls in the air about who and what to be showing up, and certainly in terms of the reveals that are coming out. So we'll come back to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Talking about the exclusives and collectibles, someone that I've been looking forward to on the Hangout again, because it's been a while since we've spoken to him. We've got Carl from the TheTFReview. How are you doing, Carl? Oh, are you there?
right here.
What's been happening in your world since we spoke to you last? Because it has been a while.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, it's been interesting. Some exclusives, I think, for Hasbro specifically, and a lot of people are kind of explaining the show. But and
Hey, Leonard, I'm having a real hard time understanding.
We're having a hard time actually hearing you, Kyle. I don't know if there's a problem with the mic or any way that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're kind of struggling to hear you at this point.
all right. What I can.
I've also got Brian Stephenson here too. If we wanted to take a few minutes with, I'm sorry to derail.
Okay.
I just was thinking that it would give him a few minutes to get his mic sorted.
That's fine. Yeah, if we can try and get the audio sorted out on your end, Kyle. See if we can get. We'll come back and we'll speak to you in a second because we seem to have a slight hiccup there. But no, and joining us from Special Edition City is Alyssa Franks. Hello, Alyssa. How are you, sir? Sir, madam.
Thank you, Leonard. I am exhausted. I'm going to go ahead and because Brian's time is short, and I think we'll probably maybe get 5 or 10 minutes with him. I'm going to go ahead and just introduce Brian Stephenson from ReedPop. He is the global brand director. I got it right. He said, that's cool. Oops, fingers in the camera. Don't do that.
Hi, Brian. How are you doing, sir?
I'm going to give him the headset so you can actually talk with him and ask international questions.
Sure, and then
Star Wars.
Absolutely, and certainly pass back to you once we're done. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be one of those shows.
All right, I can hear you guys.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Now, obviously, we're getting in contact with you at Special Edition. How's the weekend gone so far?
Everything's been great. It's this show is small in comparison compared to New York Comic Con, but it's all about comic books. It's that rare Comic Con that actually is 100% focused on just comic books these days. So it's really refreshing and cool in that way. I love being here.
Brilliant. Any highlights for your particular? I mean, have you been able to experience any of it? I know you've been very busy this weekend.
Yeah, today I have. I actually just took a loop back through Artist Alley. I got to say hello to Scott Snyder. Seeing Brian Michael Bendis, who doesn't do a lot of conventions these days, here just interacting with fans has been really, really awesome. So that's been really cool. Those have been highlights. And then all the fans that came out to purchase tickets for New York Comic Con, that went really well as well. So far, all in all, everything's been great this weekend.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm going to pass you back to Alyssa in a second because obviously she's going to have a bunch of questions, especially regarding New York City and about Special Edition. But I wanted to talk to you very much about the other things that ReedPop have been getting up to, especially Star Wars Celebration. How excited for you for coming to London?
Oh my God, I've known about it for a long, long time. Because we announced it at Celebration Anaheim. So it's been a really long time in the making, and just to be able to be in that environment and know that the movies are being filmed so close by, and the support that we're going to have from the studio for that show, and specifically I think around Rogue One, I think is going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. Like every celebration kind of has its own flavor that we try to tailor to the area that it's in. So we're working on a lot of different ideas that will make London definitely stand out for being London and being a Star Wars event. So it's going to be really cool. I couldn't be more excited.
Excellent stuff. I know that as a global brand manager, you definitely have your fingers in many pies in terms of ReedPop. What things are forthcoming, certainly in the next 6 to 8 months as we come through the rest of 2015? What are highlights are looking in your calendar at the moment?
So yeah, it's been interesting because right before New York Comic Con 2014, my role kind of shifted from being the marketing director for all of our domestic shows, and I started moving into more of an international and branded role. So working on things like Star Wars Celebration, UFC, TwitchCon, and some other things that we're currently working on and in development, and then shifting over to all the international business, which we've been growing significantly. Like we just had our we just launched Shanghai Comic Convention, which was hugely successful. That show was so cool and so awesome and so different, and we're trying to kind of replicate the ReadPop model on a global scale, and to have some consistency around the globe for what our vision of what a comic experience and convention experience should be. So that's kind of what I've been managing and working on a lot of different launches. I think Comic-Con Paris, which is coming up after New York Comic-Con, I'm working a lot on that right now, and their guest list and the type of experience that they're trying to create for a French audience is going to be really, really cool. And they've got some really great names, like Brian Michael Bendis is going to be there, so that's going to be awesome. But we've got some other serious comic names, which we have not announced yet, that don't do many comic conventions. I'm looking at Alyssa, like, there's some people you'd be very excited about that are coming, and so that show is going to be really cool. And then I've been working a lot on Vienna Comic-Con, actually, which is in November as well, and then the Oz Comic-Cons in Australia, and getting those two, they're very established, but getting those up to a great place that ReadPop feels good about, and the same for our shows in India as well. So it's been really busy in that way for this year. But it's just cool to see that fans and fandom kind of translates anywhere you are in the world. We weren't sure certain things, like, do fans react the same way in Vienna to celebrity guests that they would in the US, or comic guests, or different brands. And it's, there's the culture of con culture and the culture of fandom that's really translates anywhere in the world, which has been cool to see. That's been a lot of fun to work on.
Interesting. Well, so obviously been seriously racking up the air miles, which is fantastic. But New York City Comic-Con is certainly something that everyone's really interested in. I'm going to pass you back to Alyssa in a second about that, but I just want to very quickly bring up yesterday in terms of, and just to get your take on it, and also any response from ReadPop regarding the selling of the allocated badges or the tickets that took place yesterday, and it did get a little bit chaotic in places. What can you talk about that?
Yeah, so yesterday what happened was, whenever we were set up and we had everything ready to go and we were all set, everything was actually really controlled. And if you look at the videos, it was actually everything, despite it looking like a sea of people, was actually completely controlled, completely managed, and everybody was fine. It's just whenever you have, 5,000 people and you've got 15 banks of registers, and we have to take all, because we can't hand anybody a badge because the badges haven't been created yet. So they have to put their information into the system. So that actually takes a little bit longer to process. And we moved through people pretty quickly. It just was a significant amount of people to process. So that's why it took a little bit longer. And whenever it first started, there were some changes that we had to make to extend the queues. And that's kind of where some of the stuff that came out, where you saw there was like two lines that kind of formed together. We got it all cleared up in about 15 minutes, and it was totally fine. And it probably looked and sounded more dramatic from what you were seeing on social media than it actually was. And then for today, everything was totally fine. Like, it was one of those things where, yesterday we had a plan, we changed it on the fly, we got everybody processed, everything was fine. And today, perfectly normal, totally smooth, everything was great. It's the first time you do something in a building. This is the first time we've done an event in this building. So, you don't know where the crowd's going to exactly come from. We try to control it as much as possible. But it got through. Like yesterday, even 3-day badges were available, and they lasted for about 3 hours, actually, for people in line. And then the 4-day badges lasted for about 5 hours. So it wasn't like, people came up, everything was sold out, it was chaos. It was totally not like that at all. And it actually ran smoothly. It took a long time to process people.
Fair enough. I mean, it certainly looked like it was a hard. I mean, at the end of the day, it's what we always talk about when it comes to con culture. When you have a limited amount of badges and so many people trying for them, it can obviously get a little bit awkward. But obviously, you have managed to pan it out, and people have got the badges they wanted. Yeah. Brilliant.
And absolutely. And the other thing I just add on that is, people were asking why, we were selling badges packages in this format. And the thing is, like, we get a lot of commentary around real fans and true fans and how there's never enough tickets available for what the true comic book fans out there. So we always felt like Special Edition is a Comic-Con that's strictly about comic books. So, and it's in New York City. So these should be our most hardcore, true, real comic book fans, however, and I say quotes, however you define that. And so we always thought it was like a benefit for those fans. What we saw this year was a significant increase in people, I think, that just were coming to the show just to get New York Comic-Con tickets, which is unfortunate. But my hope is they hung around, they went to Artist Alley, they got to experience the rest of this show. Even if they're all about the celebrities and everything else you can see at New York Comic-Con, hopefully they got to experience a lot of really awesome comic books and comic book culture here by coming here, not just to get their ticket, but to be a part of this as well. So, we'll look at it and we'll reevaluate it for next year and see, if there's a better way to do things or if we continue to sell tickets in the same format. But overall, it was really successful for how many people came through here yesterday. So.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll let you pass the headphones over to Alyssa, and we'll have a little bit of a chat with. I'm certain Alyssa's got a number of questions for you as well.
Sure, absolutely. Hey, it was great to talk to you, Leonard. It was great to see you.
Too. While we're doing that transition, we'll very quickly.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Something which I think we're supposed to do at the top of the Hangout, which is our support. The Dark Bunny Team. Dark Bunny Team is a company which makes some fantastic movie-themed.
Oh, Mike? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll probably see him in a couple minutes ago. Try to find him.
Yeah, Alyssa's just having a bit of a chat with Brian there. They've supported us by giving away fantastic. Last week, we gave away a. No, don't get any. Right, yes. A question about.
If I can take.
Sorry, we're just getting a little bit of background noise there from Alyssa. No, this was the question for Dark Bunny Team. It was to give away a Rocky T-shirt, which was a brilliant Mickey's Gym tee. We gave away a T-shirt live last week. That was to I Am Fascinated. We now have a winner for the promo code for Dark Bunny Tees, and congratulations to Braxback, which is Mel. We're going to get in contact with you after the Hangout, but you are our promo code winner. Congratulations. Now, this is where you can get a chance to win between now and the end of the Hangout for a Dark Bunny tee live on the Hangout. Now, what we're giving away is a design that's on the darkbunnytees.com website. It's a Mad Max original 1977, or when the original film came out. And it's the police badge, the emblem of the Australian Road Patrol, which Max is a member of. It's a gorgeous tee. Do check out darkbunnytees.com. But we are going to give away one of these tees at the end of this Hangout. What you have to do is tweet using the hashtag MadMaxTGiveaway. So that's MAX or MADMAXTEE giveaway. All in one word, in a hashtag. You don't even have to send it to me. Just use the hashtag, and this is the answer to the question. I want you to tell me, what model car does Max Ratansky drive in the original Mad Max? Okay? Answer that question, tweet that to me, or tweet that using the hashtag MadMaxTGiveaway, and we'll be giving away a Mad Max t-shirt at the end of this Hangout. So there we go. All right, let's go over to back to Alyssa, who has got a couple of questions, no doubt, for Brian. Or has Brian disappeared? Oh, hello?
Hi, I'm muting my microphone.
Has Brian disappeared?
He has. I'm going to kind of pass on the questions for Brian at this point. I asked him earlier if they were thinking about having the show back here at Pier 93, and they have not made a decision yet. The general consensus is that they would much prefer to be in the Javits Center. It's just an all-around better venue than 93, but the weekend and the timing of it worked out really well for everybody here. It's been a long weekend. It's we've had a great time. I was just able to get a Snyder signature off that I didn't think I was going to be able to get. So I'm happy.
Cool. Excellent stuff. We'll come back to you and we'll talk about special edition very soon indeed. But let's crack on with our conversation, what we actually want to talk about, which is collectibles and exclusives. We'll go very quickly to Brandon, because obviously he does about film and all the movie stuff that comes to Comic-Con. But do you look into any exclusives at all? Is there anything that you kind of pick up from the exclusive floor?
Not too often. It has to really be something that catches my eye, because coming from DC, coming from the East Coast, it really has to be something that catches my eye that I will want to bring all the way from the West Coast and lug with me from back home. So, but I mean, I did see something in regards to Big Bang Theory that was interesting. So.
Okay. Is that something that you will actually be fighting on the exhibition floor for, or is it something?
No, I may try to see if I can possibly order it beforehand and avoid that, because more oftentimes than not, I will be in the middle of something else while I'm actually there. So.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, it's something that I do want to bring up now with Kyle, because a couple of people have been asking throughout the course of the week when we were talking, or said that we were going to be doing something about exclusives and collectibles. Certainly something that has come up is terms about pre-orders and about looking ahead, and also about what actually makes a Comic-Con exclusive. Well, first things first, I mean, is there anything that's kind of jumped out that you feel exclusive this year so far?
The big thing on my list right now is the Titan Devastator figure that was announced a couple weeks ago. I think that just looks so cool. And it's just something I need.
Is it a case of, I mean, what do you collect for? Is it as an investment, or is it more as a souvenir, or?
Well, with the Comic-Con exclusives, it's usually a little bit of both. I'm generally a big Transformer collector, so that's something that I would keep close to me and, in my heart. But there are times, you have a lot of leeway in sort of the collector fan base when you have Comic-Con exclusives to trade to other collectors for other things, and there's like a bit of investment and a bit of monetary whatnot. But generally, most of the stuff I get, I do like to keep and review on my channel and whatnot.
I am hearing everybody is talking about the Devastator on the forum. That's like the number one. If you're going to San Diego, you're hit up by, and Mike Leventhal can talk to this specifically. You're hit up by 3 people who want you to buy a Devastator for them. The one that's got me, totally. And I'm just waiting for my 15-year-old to figure out that it's going to be there and start begging me for money. Mm-hmm. The one that's got me going is the Doctor Strange. I love that packaging. Oh, yeah. What do you think about that one?
I think that is absolutely stunning. Like the packaging, the way it was. It's probably the best Marvel Legends exclusive we've had in a long time. And I'm generally not a big Marvel Legends collector, but that I might end up picking up just for the packaging alone.
Would you say actually that's probably the best looking exclusive we've seen so far?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just, it has so much class, and the way it's all kind of sitted in that red velvet looking packaging, all the figures. It's something that really, it struck a chord with me, and I know it struck a chord a lot with a lot of other people who aren't generally Marvel Legends collectors. That I think that's going to be a hot one this year.
I was really trying not to get into the Hasbro line. Mm-hmm. I was steadfastly, and I held my ground for the Devastator, but the Doctor Strange is going to get me in line, or unless I can talk my 15-year-old into overnighting it for me.
Oh yeah, well that's you can get that.
Ask you, Kyle. As somebody who does specialize in the exclusives, what's your approach? What do you prefer to? Do you prefer to pre-order, Do you preview night it? Do you kind of wait for the Sunday for the kind of the best bargains? What's your approach?
Well, generally, it's a bit of everything. Now that Mattel does the whole pre-orders, that's generally something I like to take advantage of. And it seems that everything that I was expecting was going to sell out did sell out. So that's a good way to get a lot of the harder-to-get exclusives if you do wait until Comic-Con. And then, of course, with Hasbro, they don't do any pre-order, I don't believe, so it's you gotta camp out usually. And that's something I do. I like to do. It's become a tradition. I camp out on Wednesday night for Thursday morning. And I just generally try and get... Thursday is my exclusive day, and then whatever I don't get on Thursday, I kind of carry over to Friday. Hopefully I'll get it then. If not, then I just try and enjoy the rest of the con.
I can verify that. I've seen him in his chair when I've arrived at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Excellent. Okay, I mean, so the question that some people have been asking, and it is certainly there's two big questions, really. Number one is the whole nonsense about finding people and finding lines capped even as the doors pretty much open, with people floating around from other booths. That's something that we kind of brought up with David Glanzer last week in our conversation. It's very difficult to police. But certainly the big question people have been asking is how does CCI get involved in its exclusives? I mean, I've got an answer, but I just wanted to just run it past Kyle, just see what he knew. I mean, for example, we've got Kitty who's asking, how can something be called an SDCC exclusive if it's sold all over the internet and other places?
Well, generally, it depends on the retailer. Like Earth, they advertise exclusives are usually not. They're just kind of early releases of toys that'll hit Toys R Us or Target or anywhere. But with Hasbro and Mattel and Bandai of America and whatnot, those are genuinely exclusive, but they're often variants of normal standard retail releases. Like the Devastator, what makes it different is it has like a new head sculpt and it's got chrome purple, and that's how it differentiates itself from the retail release, which is going to come out later in fall. So in a way, it is exclusive, and generally it's just the extra stock that's left over from Comic-Con is sold online or eBay or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, we have had a source confirm about how Comic-Con gets involved in terms of the branding of an exclusive. Because people say about when stuff is sold online directly afterwards. The source has actually told us that there's actually separate branding for exclusives. If it's on the exclusive site and it's got as part of CCI, and if it's also branded with a Comic-Con exclusive badge, it's only technically supposed to be sold at Comic-Con. Out on the exhibition floor, that's where it's supposed to stay. If it is something that they will then sell on their website after the event, it is something that then there's a separate brand and a separate list. It is a totally different thing. Pay attention to how something is marketed. When it comes to pre-orders and things that are collected, CCI branded exclusives, and that's when we'll see an actual dedicated list. That's the list that goes up on the CCI website.
That makes perfect sense. With the company that I'm working for currently, we're actually setting up an exclusive, and I've been in charge of kind of setting that up with CCI, and they've been very strict about the branding, about the use of their logos and whatnot. So that does make a lot of sense.
So there you go. So if you are interested in the exclusives, if you're wondering why stuff does get sold on afterwards, there is a separate branding, so do pay attention to that. I've got a couple of questions coming in on the Q&A. Let's see if you can help us with this. We've got Betsy Woodin. Hello, Betsy. Any word about a Magic the Gathering Hasbro exclusive? The Magic exclusive sets have gone on a lot on eBay for the past 2 years. Is there anything that have you heard about that so far?
I think it's safe to bet that there will be a Magic the Gathering exclusive this year. That's generally one of the last things that they'll announce. That's kind of been the way it's been for the past 2 years. So I think maybe the week of or the week before, we should definitely be hearing about a Magic the Gathering exclusive.
What's the kind of timetable when it comes to the exclusives finally getting nailed down? I mean, is it pretty much up to the wire, or is it in the next couple of weeks or the next week or so when we can actually?
It really depends, because last year we knew about exclusives in February, but this year it kind of dragged on. We didn't hear about the first Hasbro exclusive until I think it was late May when they announced Devastator, and that was only announced because images were leaked of it. So I guess it just depends on whenever the companies are ready to announce.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's see what we've got here on the Q&A. I mean, there's something that we were going to talk to Brandon about, because it does seem that they have been releasing information about Comic-Con really late this year, and people are certainly feeling a little bit chomping at the bit for Comic-Con news.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was looking back at prior years when information was starting to spill out, and around this time, I would say about maybe 3 or 4 weeks out, you start even on our end, on the press end, you start hearing information come in steadily up until the con, and it's been pretty slow. So.
Excellent. Okay, let's see what else we've got on the Q&A very quickly before we move on, because I do know that we've got a whole bunch of people that are asking some questions. Let's go first for right. This is from Kitty Gunn, and I was guessing this is directly for Kyle. What do you think the percentage is of fans getting exclusives versus the resellers flipping the product on eBay, etc.? That's a good question, Kitty. What do you think is?
Honestly, I think it's 75% resellers, 25% fans. Generally, that's been my experience in standing in the Hasbro lines. People are, oh, are you going to get extra this, or are you going to get extra that? You have people who hover around the lines asking for you to buy extra whatnot so they could eventually resell. So generally, I think that's what the percentage is. At least in my experience.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought it was that large, but I trust your judgment on that one.
Yeah, that's just based on my own personal experience.
Yeah, you're in it.
Yeah, so I think it's mostly people, and I think there might be for say Hasbro, there might be 1 or 2 things that they like out of the whatever they offer, and that's what they end up keeping. But they'll get one of everything else so that they can resell it to kind of cover costs of whatever.
Right.
Okay, and we've got a question here. Well, this is more of a statement more than anything. This is from Ian O'Hara. Thank you very much. I haven't been too impressed with the exclusives this year. The only thing that I've pre-ordered is the Square Enix Batman, and the one that caught my eye was, of course, the Doctor Strange exclusive. A lot of people. I mean, that Batman, if it's the Square Enix, I think it's the Jim Lee exclusive. Is that the same one?
Let me see. I actually haven't seen that exclusive yet, but you're probably going to take a hit from my heart right now because.
No, I have actually, and that one is gorgeous. Chris on the forum was talking about that. That's the one with the sketch on it and the figure.
Yeah, actually, look, it's an actual figure, but
yeah.
it does look like the lines have been sculpted into the way the figure's been molded.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looks like a 3D Jim Lee sketch, and it's in a gorgeous black and white presentation box. And there's also a limited selection of the units. I think there's only. You're going to have to tell me on the Q&A and let me know how many there are. But there's a number where there's an actual Jim Lee sketch in the packaging. It's a hell of a thing.
Oh. I didn't know that. I thought that there was like only 200 of them. So there was a limited print run for the figures themselves. But I didn't know if you would have the sketch in them. Uh-oh.
Sure. Yeah, that's going to be a very busy booth. So that's going to be something else. Okay.
I thought we could pre-order that.
Okay.
Isn't there a pre-order?
Well, this one I would then go to Kyle, but I think he's.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in awe right now looking at this exclusive.
Fantastic. We'll actually put the link to that as well down in the comments of the Google Plus event and also the YouTube, so people can go and have a look at it. All right. Janine has actually turned around and said that is not the Square Enix one. So we're going to have to do a little bit. Thank you very much. Dan Berry has just very quickly said that is it's Play Arts. Kai,
Right. Sorry.
Night. So there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, we'll have to look into the. Oh no, Square Enix. It's the Kai Arts. That's the one, Janine. That's what we're talking about, I believe. So we're going to have to look into that. Okay, thank you very much indeed for jumping on the Q&A and let us know about that. Carlo Dwyer has joined us. Do you think they'll have any Hasbro Star Wars exclusives, or are they going to save releasing anything Star Wars related until The Force Awakens releases?
Well, they're at the same time that a lot of the Transformer images were leaked from the factory. There was also a Star Wars 6-inch Black Series figure image that was also leaked. So, of course, rumors started going that it might be a 6-inch clone trooper, or not a clone trooper, a stormtrooper based on the new Force Awakens is a potential exclusive through Hasbro in the Black Series line. And it hasn't been confirmed, of course, but that's generally what people think it's going to be, just a standard 6-inch based on the new stormtrooper. So hopefully, I would love to see that, and I'm hoping that's what it is.
Gotcha. Very quickly as well, we have had one or two people clarifying. You're absolutely right. It wasn't the Square Enix one that we were talking about. Very quick, no, just to clarify what this is all about. The Finley sketch, only 150 has a sketch at $300. The standard figure on its own is $40. Okay, so there's that. But the image that they're talking about, or the Square Enix one, you're absolutely right. What it is a gorgeous figurine based on Batman Arkham Knight, which is going to be available at Comic-Con until August 31st, when it will then hit Square Enix online site. It's an absolutely gorgeous figure. See what we've got in the comments in terms of the. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to catch up on the bit. Basically, it's a gorgeous, like I say, Arkham Knight exclusive. I may just have to quickly find some way of pointing that onto the Q&A so people can actually have a look at it. That's stunning. Right, we have ourselves somebody who's joining us. Hi. Have you actually pushed Alyssa out of the way?
I shoved her out of the way.
That's mean, man. That's mean. We got Michael Leventhal, who's joined Alyssa at New York Comic Con. Sorry, it's a special edition. So, yeah, I mean, what do you do when it comes to your exclusives? Is there anything that kind of jumps out at you?
For exclusives, any exclusives? Well, I heard Alyssa talking a little bit about the Hasbro, so Devastator is on my must-have list. I'm hoping there's not another big Transformer set this year, because I know last year they had the Knights of Unicron and the Dinobots. I think that was a little too much for me, so if they go too large, I'm not going to do it. Lego is certainly another exclusive that I'm going to be jumping on. I hope they have 2 to 3 different sets. In the past, they've had a Star Wars set and a Batman set, so we'll see what happens. And hopefully maybe a Mondo or 2. I like their stuff.
Okay, I'm just tweeting out now the link to the exclusive, this Batman Arkham Knight figurine, which people have been talking about. I think the question is basically, has anyone heard about whether we can actually see, is there any comments about that? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to juggle all sorts of bits and pieces. Sorry about this. Try and get on with it, but let's see what else. This is a question from Jesse Lynn. Do you think we may see some Mattel Batman vs Superman prototypes at Comic-Con this year? Kyle?
Not this year, but possibly next year.
There you go. That's a short, sweet. Fantastic. Okay. Right. So we're going to have to keep our eyes open for more Man of Steel stuff. Obviously, when it comes to the film itself, people have been talking about whether we're going to be getting any more Man of Steel reveals at Comic-Con. Obviously, Suicide Squad is taking a lot of interest. This is a question from, I think it's more of a statement, Dan Berry, from one of my friends who has a Diamond distribution account. Diamond is doing luncheon on Friday at Comic-Con. At that luncheon, they will tell the retailers how they can order or get the $3 Jim Lee exclusive. So hopefully we'll be up Dan Berry with that. Okay. Let's see. Well, okay, well, let's turn to Kyle again then and talk about people who are just getting into exclusive. Because it's something that I've just never gotten into, purely because there is so much in terms of whether you're doing it for a financial reason, and you've got other things to kind of use your money on at Comic-Con. Is there any way that you would recommend just kind of like getting into the exclusives kind of range? How would you, just starting out, where would you point people?
Starting out, well, my first year going, I actually got really lucky in terms of I just kind of winged it, and I was able to get everything I wanted. I didn't know what I was doing. But if you're just starting out, generally a good place to go, I think, would be Mattel. They're usually the easiest to get kind of on day 3, day 4. Or, you know, if you're willing to camp out, that's always, you know, the safest bet in terms of acquiring something or getting exactly what you want.
Okay.
And that's why a lot of people camp out. It's almost a guarantee.
Sure. I mean, also in terms of exclusives, I mean, would you recommend sort of hanging fire and looking at the deals on Sunday for? I mean, yeah. Could you actually hold off until Sunday?
That's a great question. Probably not. I generally would want to have everything as soon as possible, just for the sake of turning it around and getting a review out as fast as possible. But there are a lot of exclusives that are much easier to get on Sunday, and generally what a lot of the companies do is whatever isn't picked up, since they do ticketing systems now, whatever isn't picked up or acquired for, they'll sell on Sunday. And that's also a really great way to get maybe some of the harder to find, harder to acquire stuff.
Right. Is there any other questions from our guests? Is there any exclusive questions from Mike or from Brandon? No, Brandon's very much focused on the film stuff. I understand that. It's okay. Okay, well, let's very quickly cover this. This is regarding, well, one of the big collective things which Comic-Con have done their best to actually make sure that people aren't queuing up on the exhibition floor are the T-shirts. Slight correction, of course, for last week when we were speaking to David Glanzer and we were saying about the reveal of the T-shirt kit. Of course, that was already done. If you go and have a look on my site and look at everyone's site, we actually talked about it already. Gorgeous spirit design, which has been next together. But Ian O'Hara's asking, does anyone know that when the heck the shirts are going to go on sale? It seems a bit late in the game for them to announce. I can tell you exactly when those are going to get revealed. Okay, you ready? This is when those are going to get revealed. Myself, Neil Williamson are going to be going to see the first screening of Jurassic World next Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday or Thursday. Next week, we're going to go see the first screening of Jurassic World. We're going to be in a cinema, boxed off away from social media for 2 hours. That's when the news will come. I can tell you right now, that's when it'll happen. Because it happens every single time. But every time we go to see a film or we just take ourselves off the radar for a couple of hours, that's when the T-shirts get announced. So pay attention for this week, when hopefully you'll find out when the T-shirts go out. There we go. Slightly facetious answer, but that's the way it works. Okay. We've got a couple of questions, and I think we'll go first to Michael to Michael Leventhal. This is from Janine Lecaro. So what have you picked up this year at Special Edition New York City?
What I've picked up here at the show, well, as far as commissions are concerned, I have 2 small commissions that I'm going to be getting. I like a little bit more fantasy art, so a little less, comic book art, so I'm getting 2 nice pieces like that. I had a few signatures. We had a Brian Michael Bendis and a Scott Snyder VIP signing this morning, so I made sure to pick up a few comics from them. For myself, for Snyder, I'm a big Jock fan, so I picked up A Witch's One, and I made sure to have him sign that. And I'm hoping to get some friends of mine to have Jock sign it when he's out in Austin for MondoCon, because I know some people going to that. In terms of a few other things, I've just, I've gotten a few. I like collecting the badges, so I've been bothering everyone. I have a nice little set of the Repop badges for the show, which are really, really nice. And I've gone around and I've gotten them all signed by the artists who are all there and are really talented. So I got them all to sign it. And that's about it. There's not a lot of exclusives at the show. It's much more, comic artist oriented. So you're not going to have the Hasbro exclusive. You don't have, these companies aren't there. It's not focused on that.
Sure. But I mean, the collecting of art and the collecting of sketches, that certainly comes under the domain of exclusives and collectibles.
I mean, a commissioned piece of art is essentially an exclusive of one when you think about it, so that's kind of cool.
It's something that we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks' time when we do our toolkit on Artist Alley and about the best way to approach the artists. So no, I'm looking forward to doing that, but that is in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, thank you very much indeed for joining us, Michael. Is Alyssa there?
Yep.
Because I know that we're hoping we're going to get some more guests.
Well, I'll have to revive her, so she'll come back on in a second or two.
Fair enough. Okay. Right. Well, in that case, we'll very quickly we'll talk then to Brandon in terms of the news that has come up for Comic-Con, in terms of the films that we may be seeing at Comic-Con this year. Because obviously we've heard the news that Marvel Studios is most like they're not going to be showing up. So is there any films that have kind of crossed your radar that will be showing up, or is there anything that you can be interested in this year?
Well, first let me start with the news about Marvel and them not making an appearance. I believe them in one respect that they're being truthful, that they're not going to have anything regarding their properties there. But on the other hand, if we're considering some of the other projects that may show up, if they wanted to really surprise people, they could possibly do something. And I'm not saying this as an exclusive news, but it's possible that they may have something for Spider-Man, possibly, because if we really think about it, I mean, even though it's a Marvel, even though he's in the MCU now, it's still a part of Sony. So they could still technically say, oh, we didn't have anything for Marvel, but have, an announcement about who Spider-Man may be, and have it under the Sony umbrella or under the Sony slate. So, I mean, that's one thing that I've been thinking about with Marvel, that they may still have some type of surprise in terms of something that they can show, and one way that they can do that without officially having a Marvel slate is to do something with Spider-Man, possibly. But aside from that, I mean, I'm, of course, excited about a lot of the DC properties that are coming, whether it hopefully, they'll have, Suicide Squad out there, and more than likely they'll have, Batman and Superman. Hopefully a lot more than what they had last year, even though it was pretty cool.
I've been trying to work out what film the sound represent.
we now have Mike Armstrong. If you're interested,
Yeah,
we can go to him. Wait for a moment.
And we'll have Mike Okay. So yeah, I've been trying to work out what film Sir Ben Kingsley is going to be in town for, because he is going to be a guest of Nerdist Live with Chris Hardwick for his live show on the Saturday. So he's going to be in town. And obviously there's been a couple of films that are the possibility. Obviously the trailer got released this week for The Walk, which is
Right.
a Gordon Levitt film that's going to be due. Is there any possibility? We had what you wouldn't expect from a Comic-Con audience. I mean, we had Black Hat last year showing up. Could this year could the Walk be this year's Black Hat panel appearance?
I mean, it may very well be. I mean, only time can tell at this point. But you make a good point. It very definitely can be. I'm tongue tied today, brain farting. But okay, yeah, absolutely.
Right, we'll come back to that. I know we're bouncing over subjects at the moment, but we have Alyssa, who's been joined by someone who we had a great conversation with a couple of weeks back. Hello, Mike. Alyssa, how are you, sir?
He's fine. He's tired. I'm speaking with him since I have the headset and he can't
Go for
hear
it.
you.
It's all you. Go for it.
So I'll go ahead and ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
Of how has the show been going for you?
Good. Glad it's over almost, but it's great. I mean, it's so nice. We talked about it before, but it's so nice to just see fans getting excited about meeting their creators. And everyone we've talked to in Artist Alley is having a great show. Fans who are taking advantage of the event are loving it, and we're exhausted. We're ready to go home, but overall, good for us. We're excited.
And it's only a 2-day show.
Yeah.
And you haven't even gotten into the heat of the summer yet.
Yeah.
What's next on your schedule, you personally?
I'm going to go out to the West Coast week after next and do some publisher meetings and start talking about New York Comic Con plans, and start working a little closer with the Emerald City team and learning from them, and injecting a little bit of what Repop does to their event as well.
How has the Emerald City team contributed to SE NYC, or are they just helping you with NYC?
I think their mark is really heavily on Artist Alley.
Yeah.
If you look at the Periscope guests, the Patagon guests, some guests who haven't done a Repop show in a while, but have done Emerald City and have a good relationship with that team, they're here and it's great and they're having a good show. It's nice to people who want to take a break from Repop shows for a couple years to Jim and the rest of his team who have such good relationships with those guys are able to bring them out, and it's cool, and it's a nice way to diversify the content in there, because it's always good to get fresh blood in there, and we haven't had a couple of those guys for a number of years, and to get them back in, I think the fans are really excited about it.
Well, that sounds great. I'm so glad to hear the ECC guys have put their stamp on and are assisting.
Yeah.
That's so nice to hear.
How was your show? You still got some time to go.
I do have some time to go. I got Snyder on a lark today, just in the last minute. I walked into it, and
Nice.
the CGC guy was right there and said, "Hey, let's do this." So I got my Witches 1 signed.
Good.
Which is cool. That was cool.
It's been really cool to see some of the talent that I don't know that we anticipated doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
The line today for Snyder is the same size as the line for Robbie Rodriguez and Jason Latour. And seeing people who I think we maybe didn't anticipate having so much attention. It's been so nice to see those people do really, really good shows.
Yeah, the Latour and Spider Gwen with that has really exploded here. I was kind of a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
The Silk, not so much. The Silk artist, Amy Lee. I forgot her name.
Stacey Lee.
Stacey Lee. Thank you. Stacey Lee. Not so much of a line for that as there was for the Latour and combo of those guys. Anything else you'd like to cover?
We're excited that people have had a good show. Our attendance is math in my head, close to double what we had last year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
it's just really good to see people get excited by the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can do another one in New York next year, and maybe we'll keep moving this around the country.
Are you thinking about New York again for SE?
I think we need to, we need to get back to the office and look at the numbers and figure out what the plan for next year is. But our idea behind special edition is always that it could be something that travels, and it could be something where we see a city that might be underserved and might not have a good show. We can jump right in there and deliver the same brand, but do different, just take an artist alley that we would have in New York and bring it to a different city. And I think people respond to that.
I personally do like the Javits for the Javits, so
Sure.
Pure 93.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
right there.
we talked about it before we got here, but we wanted better dates.
Yeah.
And I think that while this venue was not ideal, it sufficed. And I think that if we were going to have to fall on Father's Day again or compete with other local shows, we definitely did not want to do that. So we picked dates, and it was okay. The building was okay.
Yeah. And any questions from the Q&A, Leonard?
We haven't had any questions. We're just trying to work out if we're getting a little bit of signal drop-off from yourself. But we're getting the master joke. We basically got comments. We've got Betsy Woodin saying, we love Emerald City Comic Con and PAX Prime, been there for the last 5 years. And I think just generally a lot of people being very excited about special edition. It's been
good.
very, very successful. Yeah.
Well, then, if there's no more questions, I've run out of questions to ask myself.
That was easy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm easy. Oh, did I say that on air? Oh, no. Dreadful. So, thank you very much, Mike.
Sure.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed to Mike Leventhal. Hopefully we'll be having him back on the Hangouts again. Certainly
that was
after
Mike. That was Mike.
Sorry,
yeah,
Mike Armstrong.
Yeah, right. Mike Leventhal
Thank you
was before.
Right, okay. I think what we'll do is we'll actually wrap things up because it is starting to get, like I say, we want to try and get everything out of the way. I think just very quickly go through a couple of the Q&As. Very quickly as well, last chance to get your answer in for the question, what car did the original Max Rotansky drive in the original Mad Max film? Do tweet that in to Mad Max T giveaway on the hashtag. We've got a number of people. We will be giving away that T-shirt in the next 5-10 minutes. So, okay. A question that's actually come in, which I quite liked. This is from Carlo, and this is for Kyle. What is your least liked favorite? What is your least liked exclusive this year? Which one kind of has made you just go, ugh?
Oh gosh. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna say probably the G.I. Joe set. I've never been a big G.I. Joe person, and G.I. Joe is kind of in a state where there's no toys, there's no toy lines, there's not a lot going on. So it seems like it's just random that it's there, and there wasn't a huge announcement or anything. So it's just, eh. Of course, they have, G.I. Joe has its fans, and I'm sure they'll love it. But for me, it's just kind of it might as well not even be there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see what else we've got in the questions for yourself.
I'm keeping an eye out for the Invested Comics guy, Jay. I don't know if he's. I thought he was here for a moment, but then he vanished when we were talking with Mike. One of the topics that I was going to talk to him about is
we were talking. Anyway.
Hey.
Okay. I think Alyssa wants to say something. Alyssa?
I'm sorry if I'm dropping out. Why don't I'll be quiet now.
Okay. No, we were talking about exclusives, and then you jumped in. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. Oh yeah, Kitty Gunn has turned around and said that maybe he thought the Thomas the Tank Engine exclusives weren't exactly floating your boat, Kyle.
I actually ended up getting that during the Maddie Collector sale. I'm a Thomas fan since I was 3 years old, so I was actually expecting that to sell out because I know Thomas fans are pretty rabid about their Thomas.
Really?
I'm actually kind of excited about that. I know it's not for everyone. I think it's uniqueness is something that I enjoy.
I think here in the UK, we just kind of like went, Thomas the Tank Engine? Really? Really?
Yeah, and you know, it's
very. Yeah.
I think you cut out for a second there. It completely froze.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Have I frozen again?
No, you're good now. And actually,
Fair enough.
You're low resolution, but you're there.
Right. Well, I think we are starting to kind of the plates are starting to spin and they are starting to collapse out of control. So we'll start wrapping things up. Okay. What I might do is do a one shot of these to cover the actual news elements of Comic-Con for the last 7 days. But while we have people, I think we'll just wrap things up. Is there anything last minute, Alyssa, from yourself?
I was just going to try and speak to the Invest in Comics guy, Jay. One of the points that he and I were talking about pre-show, and which dovetails into the collector's realm and exclusives realm, is getting all of these comics designed specifically for the events, like the San Diego exclusives and so forth from the Marvel table. And I was going to attempt to talk to him about trying to get some of those and what you can do with them if you wanted to get one or two of them and turn around and flip them, CGC them and sell and turn around and flip them.
Sure.
But unfortunately, that will have to be a conversation for a different day.
Okay.
But I just would like to bring comics into the realm of exclusives because they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been a great festival here, con here, and I'm not sure if I'll be coming back next year. It depends on whether or not I am able to get. Mike will put me up again, frankly.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, I mean, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to do this. I know that you came straight out of a panel, and I know that you'll probably want to just enjoy the last kind of stretch of special edition. So we'll let you go. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Right. So we'll let Alyssa get off because she has got the rest of the event to enjoy. Right. We keep losing Brandon as well. So I think like the plates are starting to collapse. Yeah, I think we'll wrap things up. So thanks to Brandon for joining us. I know that we weren't able to talk a great deal about him because we were wanting to concentrate on the exclusives, but it was great to speak to Alyssa's guests. And thank you very much indeed to Kyle. Thank you very much indeed for joining us and talking exclusives with us. What I'll try and do is I'll try and run together a bit of an email conversation so we can really get into it, and I'll post it up on the website as well.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And
Thank you.
It's worth noting that we're just scratching the surface. There's so much exclusive stuff out there that it would take a whole day to talk about everything.
Excellent. So, well, I mean, listen, we've got time yet. I mean, there's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. And like I say, we kind of lost you there for a second, but Brandon, thank you very much indeed for your time. I know that we were concentrating more on the exclusives thing, so we weren't able to really get into the film stuff, but thank you very much indeed for coming along.
Oh, no worries, man. I had a good time.
Excellent stuff. Thank you. Right, thank you very much indeed to our guests. what I'll do is I'll put a list of how you can get in contact with all of them on Twitter, and also just to let you know how you can reach all of our guests today. But let's do, before this car completely crashes off the rails, let's very quickly give away a T-shirt. So this was for the model car that Max Ratansky drives in the original Mad Max. Thank you very much indeed for all of the entries. I'm now going to do a random number search on my on that hashtag, the Mad Max T giveaway. This is our winner today. Congratulations to Carlo Dwyer. It was indeed a Ford Falcon XB sedan. Correct. That's the answer that we were after. What we're going to do is give away a T-shirt, or sorry, a promo code to everybody who's listening to this back on YouTube or on the audio podcast versions. All you have to do, no answer of the question, just tweet me using the hashtag MadMaxTGiveaway. Okay? You don't have to answer any questions. Just tweet me using that hashtag, and we will give a promo code away next week. It will be happening the first thing we do on Sunday. Okay? So that's the way it works. But congratulations to Carlo. You are indeed our winner for today. Thank you very much for joining us. Absolutely, woo. Again, all of our teas are being provided by Dark Bunny Teas. Do check out darkbunnyteas.com. They really do some fantastic teas at the moment, and they're doing a couple of, like I say, great Mad Max teas. Not only that classic, but also doing a Mad Max Fury Road one, which is very, very tasty. Do check it out. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Back again next Sunday, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and of course 6 p.m. GMT here in the UK. We are talking 4 weeks, 3 more of these to go. Looking forward to it. Okay, take care, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and from my guests, on behalf of my guests, thank you very much indeed. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.